What's going on, Comicbook.com? I'm Jim Viscardi, and we are here at New York Comic Con with all our coverage being presented by Whatnot. I'm here with a comics legend, Mr. Joe Quesada. Joe,
hey,
welcome back to New York. New York's back.
New York is back. You know, it's great to see.
Not your first one.
Not my first rodeo, as they like to say, as they say, right?
You've been in the business for a bit. You've seen New York, this show in particular, grow.
Yeah.
What about it do you think just keeps it growing?
You know, it's New York. It's New York. It's the origins of the comics publishing business, of a lot of publishing business, and I think you feel it when you come in here, right? I mean, San Diego is the mother of all cons, right?
Right.
This is a very, very close second, but I think what separates it is that the heart of the show is really publishing in genre, where San Diego has become the sort of Hollywood beast, right? Where the studios congregate and stuff. But this feels more like a pure comics convention to me. So it's always, to me, again, no slight to San Diego.
Right.
It's always more fun, you know. It's home base. It's everything, and then to see the crowds come, and man, they really did show up, didn't they? It's day one, and it's already hot and sweaty down there.
Yeah, no, fantastic. Look, so we are here because you have a big announcement. Just got announced.
Was it announced? Did it? Did I do that? No, okay.
You're doing covers at DC. You're drawing Batman.
I'm going to be doing some Batman covers at DC. Yeah, it was a wonderful call that I got from Reed Javins. You know, she waited a few days, right? Like, so I announced the whole Marvel thing, you know, and my exit and stuff, and it was just, you know, she just said, would you be interested? Yes, absolutely. Batman, absolutely. You know, and it's one of those things where, you know, I cut my teeth on sort of Azrael many years ago,
right.
and with the promise that I was going to get more Batman work. It's a long story how that didn't happen.
Sure.
So I never had my run on Batman, never really got to run on Batman covers. So it's been a long time coming. So when the offer came, I'm like, this is awesome. You know, this is awesome. Just sort of going back to where I started, you know, the character that re-inspired me into comics. Because, you know, I started as a kid, I was a Marvel head. I came back as an adult and I became a DC fan, and in particular Batman. So it's going to be fun to really sort of, you know, dig my teeth into doing a few covers.
You've done your fair share of covers, obviously, over the years. What makes the perfect Batman cover, in your opinion?
I think it's what makes any cover perfect, right? I always described the comics rack, the comics wall, whatever it may be. It's a big pizza pie, right? It's a pizza pie with everything on it. So, and I think as a fan, you can go to your local shop and look at this wall of comics, and there'll always be something that makes your eye go whoop, and single out that one ingredient in the pizza pie.
Yep.
If you could do that with a cover, right, then that's what makes it successful. I mean, there's no real methodology outside of like thinking in terms of shapes, colors, guiding the eye, things that are just going to draw your eye to it. Sometimes it could just be the logo and working with the logo. Right. It could be the situation of the figure, the design of the whole cover. Sometimes you don't even need a human figure on the cover.
Right.
Just something that really draws the eye. Ultimately, as a cover artist, any cover artist listening out there, your goal is to sell books.
Sure.
That is it. Your goal is to separate a customer from their money. And you know, I go back to my own origins, reintroduction to comic books. That's the way I discovered Watchmen. I had no idea what Watchmen was, but the design on those covers, I just had to pick it up.
Comics, I think, is the only genre where you can judge a book by its cover, in the sense that, like, that's going to be the first thing to come and get you. Yeah,
I mean, there's that old saying that you know, someone picks up a book.
Yep.
There's three things that are really important. First of all, getting them to pick it up, right? So the cover is usually what might get you to pick it up, especially if it's not a character you follow, right? If you're the habitual, you know, I got to get my Batman, you're going to get your Batman regardless of the cover. But if it's something new, the covers will get you to pick it up, and then you usually leaf through it, and it'll be the first page and the last page. That's always been the methodology or the school of thought that will get somebody to buy something that is out of the norm from their usual buying habits.
I imagine when you got the call, is there, you know, doing some Batman covers, but do you basically just like slide over a list of like, here are the characters that I would also like to draw at some point?
No, I'm not that. I'm not that brazen. I was happy enough to get the call from Marie, and then speaking to Ben Abernathy about it, and I'm like, well, what do you want? And he's like, what do you want to do? So it's really just, you know, I want to follow the process. You know, I don't I don't step into like a seniority role and say, well, here's what it is. You get what you get.
Right.
So I presented, Ben with a ton of sketches.
Sure.
I said, what do you want? So he picked out a bunch, and we started from there.
All right, excellent. Well, look, hey, that's going to do it for us, here.
Cool. By the way, I also need to compliment Richard Easenoff, right, who's my colorist on these.
There you go.
Richard and I, we're always experimenting with different things. So he'll come up with really crazy coloring techniques.
Yep.
And we landed on one that we've been using for a little while, and we'll probably premiere it. It'll be on one of the first Batman covers, and hopefully that'll be the established look for these covers. So Richard is an absolute genius.
So how many is your first run of covers?
Up to this point, I think I have 6 sketches that were approved.
Okay.
There are 3.5 that are done. The three are done, right? I also have Kevin Nolan on inks.
Oh, there you go.
I think the first one, and Kevin's inking a few more after that.
Okay.
So bringing the Azrael team back together.
There you go.
But yeah, so let's say there's 4 done at this moment, and I'm slotted for at least 2 more, and then we'll see what happens.
Is this a potential gateway get you to do some interiors?
I never say never. Never say never. I have a lot of things in the works right now. But again, I always follow the rule of don't talk about a thing until it's a thing. So these things are not things yet. They're all in flux and negotiations and stuff. But again, I haven't had that conversation with DC. We haven't really spoken about it. But never know.
There you go.
Never
awesome.
know.
Joe, thank you so much for your time.
Thanks, man.
For more DC Comics news, keep it locked into Comicbook.com. Thanks again to Whatnot for sponsoring our coverage, and we'll see you there.